Since I was a child, I have loved food. Over breakfast, I would ask what was for lunch. During lunch, I'd ask about dinner. My core memories are almost always about eating at some place really cool. Pasta in New York after biking down Brooklyn Bridge. Dosa on the side of the street in the middle of the night in Bombay. The Garfield burger off the kiddie menu in the Lake Palace Hotel. Even more of these memories are about meals that are just really familiar. Sizzling brownie with vanilla ice cream with my parents after every middle school exam. Buffets with three kinds of cheese at the hotel near our house. Or just ordering pizza from Domino's or a big bowl of Rajma Chawal after school. Food is the thing you do after something happens. Food to celebrate, food to console. And it's also the thing you do no matter what happens, at least for me. There's this movie, The 100-Foot Journey. I watch it at least once a year. It's about an Indian family who loses their restaurant and moves to France to start a new life. Their car breaks down in a village, and Om Puri, who plays the stubborn patriarch, decides that it's destiny. They open up a new restaurant 100 feet away from a Michelin star restaurant and take a chance on a town of people who think Indian food, like Indian people, is irreversibly Ador. There's many scenes from this movie that are just stored in little MP4 files in my brain. In one scene, the main character Hassan's dad gives him his mom's old spice box. Every jar has the spice name written on the coarse woven cover tops in her handwriting. He lifts it up, presses the cover right up to his nose, and inhales. This summer, my mom bought me my own new spice box. It felt like almost a cultural coming of age thing. She put the actual spices in small plastic boxes, then wrapped them up in Ziploc bags. My grandmom had to source some of them. My first week back at college in my new apartment, I video called my friend and filled the spices into my new spice box, each with its little pot and a spoon. There's another scene in the movie in the second half. It's really random and sort of comes out of nowhere. Hassan's moved away from his family's restaurant to become a big Michelin star chef in Paris. Late one night, he's closing up the restaurant and sees another brown guy sitting at a table and eating the food that his wife packed for him. It's never really explained who this guy is, but they greet each other in Hindi and they seem to be friends. I'm realizing now this is one of the only times in the movie that Hassan speaks in Hindi. Anyway, he sits down to share his friend's food. He eats a bite of it and he starts to cry, picking out all the spices he can taste. I used to think this scene was strange and out of place and maybe even a little bit cliche. But I get it now. I think about it all of the time. Every time I go see my grandmother, she calls me the day before to ask what I want to eat. I've been thinking lately about how differently my mom and my grandmom cook. My nanny's cooking is more coarse, harder, more textural. Take their paneer for example. In my nanny's recipe, the masala is ground coarser. Bright orange oil pools around the edges. She shallow fries the pieces of paneer cut out of a rounded bumpy block till they're slightly brown and have more of a chew. It tastes saltier, tangier, greasier. The tomatoes in the gravy have a tartness that you can taste. You can feel that her hands have made the food, right from her hands to my hands, no fancy dishware or shiny spoons. My mom's paneer is always perfectly the same. The paneer pieces are cubed neatly, white and silky, and they soak up the rich masala. The tej patta garnish glistens when it gets coated with oil. When we have guests over, my job is setting the table before they get there, since I've never really been useful in the kitchen. My mom has the nicest dishware. Some of her fanciest plates have flowers or birds on them and gold plating around the edges. On less special days, we put the food in big white bowls with the baby blue trim that looks like lace. She learned how to cook from her mother. Her recipes are a derivative of Nani's, more refined and delicate. It always made sense that I should learn how to cook. Beyond just how much I love food, I thought it would be a process that I enjoyed. Following a set of instructions and fixed methods to make an end product, and the end product happens to be yummy, that sounds like just the thing for me. Unfortunately, in my years at home, it just didn't have to be something I needed to know how to do, which was a convenient excuse to never learn. But last year, I left home and moved to the other side of the planet. When I miss home, I miss food. In my first year in college, my culinary abilities extended to slightly elevated microwave meals. And don't get me wrong, they made me inordinately happy. In my first year, I was very lonely. Probably not extraordinarily so. I'm sure there were many, many people who were going through it much worse than I was. Home is food, but home is also people. And while the crappy dining halls were part of the problem, it was also the fact that I was trying very hard to find a home in the people around me. Sometimes it felt like it was working, but it really wasn't. Sometimes it was working, but it felt like it wasn't. On the phone, my grandmom said, "Your face looks so small. Are you eating?" And I was. I told her I was. But that wasn't the problem, really. I would eat, but the hunger wouldn't go away. But this year I have a kitchen. It's a small thing, a double induction stovetop, a sink, a couple square feet of counter space. So I cook now. Only a few things, mostly between midnight and 3 a.m. Fried rice, pasta, about four recipes that are all just different ways to combine bread, butter, and cheese. I make paneer. All my meals taste a little bit different every time. I've done it often enough now that some of the novelty is gone, but there's this magic in it that hasn't faded. I barely ever use a recipe, and things usually still turn out okay. It's not as methodical or procedural as I imagined it would be. There's less rules than I expected. You mess around, a little more salt, a little less milk, and somehow it usually turns out okay. And I almost always make more food than one person can eat. But now I have friends, people I feel at home with. In my family, care often looks like cooking food for people. So I cook for my small family of not kids and not adults. I eat till I am full. I feed till I am full. I cook to take care of myself and take care of the people I love. To take a break or reset after a rough run of days. Are you hungry? What do you want to eat tonight? My small apartment always smells like food. I've set the fire alarms off like 4 times from soy sauce smoke and spent way too much money on groceries. But at the end of a long day of studying and freaking out and telling my friends not to freak out, when I open my door and walk past that stovetop, I feel like I have a home here. When I go back for break, I will be able to make some food. I won't have to, and it won't be as good as anything my mom or Nani makes, but it'll be warm and filling and mine. And I may still have a lot I need to figure out, and a lot of recipes that aren't perfect or I haven't tried yet. But I can always text a friend and have them stir the garlic while I cut the mushrooms. I can put in an extra slice of cheese, even though the sauce really doesn't need any more cheese. I can call home while I do the dishes. I can make a hot mug of tea and keep someone awake for an extra hour, or make a bootleg version of my mom's pasta and have it make someone's day a little less bad. And I can't promise I know what I'm doing, or that I'm not stressed, or sleepless, or tired, or afraid, but I can promise I ate today. I can promise I won't go to bed hungry. Family to fill your heart, food to fill your stomach.
There's not enough paneer for the
Stop.
What do we do?
Maybe make some rice. I don't know because I'm already out of noodles.
I can flash make another round of paneer without the veggies. Only the onion and the garlic.
I would be so down.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know how much.
Okay, fine. It's very quick and very achievable. I'm going to steal some noodles.